And guys, just for a way overview, let's review David Rudiman's weekend. First lap on the track Friday in practice, he scraped the wall because the car bottomed out so bad. Then he went out and qualified fourth. Then yesterday in practice, the car back downhill was not very good. Kyle and Wally, I'm sure you've had one of those weekends where highs and lows all weekend. Right now, Rudiman in one of those ruts. Not very happy with that race car, as you can tell.
And actually, Kyle touched on it. You can run the high line because you don't want to turn the wheel. He's so loose, you can't even run the high line. He needs to run the middle, so he's got all that real estate, because he's gonna take up the whole racetrack. And it's really, really bad at a track like this if you're loose in.
Yeah, and I like this comment. I'm at a 45-degree angle all the way through the corner. Well, let me tell you something. The corner at Michigan is from turn 3 back over to turn 2 because you never really run straight at this racetrack except right in the middle of the backstretch.
Now, when Kurt Busch pitted, we saw the damage to the right side of his car, so he's already contacted the wall or at least brushed it one time, and he has been running that high groove all day since the green flag. See Tony Stewart's on board looking back at Kurt, that Miller Lite Dodge. Meanwhile, up front, it has been Jimmy Johnson. He has led 46 of the 54 laps, and he is 7 seconds ahead of Greg Biffle.
So new Fuel Max tires help you save 2,600 miles worth of gas.
That's right.
Imagine if this race was 2,600 miles long.
We need a whole lot more popcorn.
Or if you're in the booth, French fries.
Or if you're in the booth, French fries. That's exactly right.
Log on to NASCAR.com now and watch up to 4 live camera angles at once with the TNT Race Buddy. Mosaic View, the TNT Race Buddy. He's at NASCAR.com. And we have an Ask the Booth question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm leaving the booth right now.
It's from Jay. The question is, will the double file restart rule apply at Sonoma next week?
Yes, it will. And I think that's going to be pretty exciting. I think at 2 places I'm looking forward to the most on the double file shotgun restarts. What is it called?
That's close enough. That was close enough for you, man. I loved it.
But is Sonoma and Daytona. I mean, Daytona, that race is going to be spectacular as well. What's going on?
Put the brake. Caution's out. Put the brake.
Speaking of double file
and now we're going to get
one. And let's see what strategy plays out here. And these teams were getting very close to green flag stops. Debris in turn 3. 72 laps are complete. This is our first caution of the race. The lucky dog is Ryan Newman.
And I'll tell you what, when it goes green here like it did, it's bad news for a lot of these guys because there's a lot of guys that are lapped down now because you get Jimmy Johnson gets hooked up and some of those guys are struggling a little bit. And I mean, there's, I don't know what, 10 or more cars right now, 1 lap down.
Let's check in with Larry McReynolds.
Bill, the car I've been watching is that 6 car of David Reagan. He qualified back in the 23rd position. A little bit of a change with that team this week. Now, Jimmy Finning, the crew chief, he's still here. He's calling the race, but they decided to let engineer Chris Andrews work with David Reagan on the setup of this car. Just felt like they needed to try something because, remember, he's not had a top 10 finish since the Daytona 500 back in February. So far, science project working pretty good.
And he was very optimistic yesterday morning in the garage area. Big smile on his face. Said he really felt they were getting back to where they were in some of those good races they ran last year. See how it all plays out. Not even a halfway yet. There are 22 cars on the lead lap. Ryan Newman will be the 23rd car when he comes around as the lucky dog. Pit road should be open this time. It's Jimmy Johnson, then Biffle, Kane, Stewart, and Montoya, Kyle Busch, Boyer, Hamlin, Kurt Busch, and David Reagan. The field moves through turns 3 and 4. Johnson will hit first. Let's take you on down there a little early to Lindsay.
Thank you very much, Bill. Jimmy Johnson came on the radio, said, you know what, guys, it's really, really hard to even complain at all about this car. But what they've decided to do is try to free him up just a little bit. You heard him talk before about getting a little bit snug. Jimmy Johnson's going to come in. His team is going to give him 4 tires. They're going to drop the panel bar down a half a round and get him off the pit road. Matt?
Greg Biffle, the 16 car, hits pit road, slides, locks up those front wheels, getting into his pit box, spotlighting the rear carrier. His name is Kevin McDowell in the uniform, but it's really Garrett Reddy. McDowell's off with his wife Ashley having their baby. Chassis adjustment, air pressure change, trying to tighten up his 16 car, Ralph.
4 tires and fuel, and they're going down 1.5 rounds on the right rear. They're still trying to loosen up Kurt Busch. He's not a big fan of a tight race car, and that's what he's dealing with, Marty.
Ralph Kyle Busch had this car extremely loose, especially on exit. They did 1 round down on the track bar, and a lot of traffic there on pit road. Tight race off pit road, Bill.
Boy, you're not kidding. See, Vickers had that #1 stall. He creeps out as well. David Reagan picks up 5 spots. Look at Tony Stewart losing 6 spots. We'll find out what happened to those 2 guys. Reset the field, go back to green. This is NASCAR on TNT. Our TNT race family spending the weekend on the lake at Michigan and some time here at the track as well. 75 laps are complete. Jimmy Johnson is the race leader, and NASCAR thanks all the fans that are attending today and you watching on television as well. Everybody has been to pit road except Michael Waltrip, and he is the lone wave around car.
So now, unlike Pocono, and we talked about this last weekend, you could come in, get your pit stop, and come back out without getting lapped.
At Pocono.
At Pocono. Right. Here, you're not going to be able to do that. So it's a gamble. I mean,
it's going to. The interesting part here is, does he change 2? Does he change 4? Is it a gas and go? What does he do? Because
he has to gamble.
He's the gambler.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a test. A lot of people's going to go to school on Michael Waltrip, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Tony Stewart's pit stop. He currently runs in the 10th position. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Now here he comes down pit road, and listen.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Watch the front right tire changer.
That's only a couple of seconds. It's only maybe 2 seconds, 3 seconds at the most that he got hung up on that right front, but that's 5 spots, you know, on the pit.
And we heard Tony on the audio while we were in commercial say nice recovery. So he was actually watching the tire changer when he went over there.
And it's always nice when the boss man says nice recovery, you know what I mean? And that keeps his team pumped up. I mean, they're coming off a win last week. They need to stay pumped up. You know, don't need to get down over a pit stop this early in the race.